In a world just overflowing with information, how do you really know if someone's words are authentic?
Or if it's just, a masterful performance.
Exactly. How do you tell genuine authority from something? Well, something manufactured.
It's a tough question.
It is. Welcome, everyone, to The Deep Dive. This is where we take your sources, your articles, research, and add our own insights,
And we unpack the most vital knowledge.
giving you a shortcut to being genuinely well-informed. Today, we're plunging into the really fascinating trial of Sir Francis Bacon.
And specifically, Pillar 2, words.
Right. Our mission here, it's custom tailored for you, our listener. We want to help you validate communicative authenticity.
Yeah, we're scrutinizing the integrity of public communication, of stated claims. It's less about just personal integrity.
And more about the integrity of public discourse itself, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And you'll discover some surprising facts, I think, and gain a deeper sense of what real credibility looks like.
Okay, so let's dive in. Let's unpack this first crucial question for assessing any claim. Can an individual's stated expertise, their accomplishments, the impact they claim, can it all be objectively confirmed by independent sources?
That's the bedrock, really.
Yeah, the goal for us is figuring out if claims are exaggerated, maybe false, unearned, or if someone's background just seems a bit too convenient, shielded from scrutiny.
You see that sometimes.
You do.
I do.
I mean, how crucial is it really to assess if these claimed accomplishments, this expertise, can actually withstand systematic verification?
Especially when we know authority can be manufactured, false credentials, inflated claims.
It happens.
Yeah.
So what did the evidence show for Bacon on this?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting right away, because unlike maybe some historical figures where the reputation feels bigger than the proof,
Right.
Bacon's verifiable accomplishments were, well, they were actually extraordinary.
Okay, like what?
Well, for instance, his legal education, Gray's Inn, that's thoroughly documented, institutional records, clear as day.
Solid start.
Then his political positions, Lord Chancellor, Attorney General, Solicitor General, all verified. Extensive government documentation backs it all up.
No ambiguity there.
None. But what's really significant, I think, is his contribution to scientific methodology.
The Novum Organum stuff.
Exactly. And its impact has been validated over 4 centuries of development since then.
Wow.
The Royal Society, for example, explicitly acknowledged his influence on systematic empirical methods.
So a direct line.
Direct line. The whole scientific revolution really built upon the frameworks he laid down. His philosophical works, still in print, still influencing thought. His legal reforms, you can trace them right through parliamentary records.
That's thorough. So was there any evidence against him on this? Like inflated claims?
Remarkably little. I mean, really, when we look specifically for inflated or unverifiable claims, there wasn't much there. Sure, some philosophical assertions were, speculative by nature.
As philosophy often is.
Right. But his core claims about his expertise, his positions, his work, they genuinely hold up under systematic verification.
Okay, so the conclusion after all that scrutiny was pretty clear then.
Very clear. Bacon's educational credentials, government roles, intellectual influence, his systematic contributions,
Yeah.
all thoroughly documented, all independently verifiable.
Which earned him his first point, because his claims really withstood that systematic check.
Which, as we said, is actually quite rare when you dig deep into historical figures.
A true rarity.
Mm.
So what was Bacon's reaction to this first vindication?
His response was profound. He said, "The monuments of wit survive the monuments of power."
Powerful statement.
Isn't it? He argued basically, look at what I actually created, not the political stories people spin. Look at the work itself.
Let the work speak.
Exactly. The evidence, he said, systematically supports authenticity. He pointed out, the Royal Society still acknowledges his influence centuries later. His frameworks still guide inquiry.
He had receipts, essentially.
He absolutely did. And he concluded that finding very little evidence of inflated or unverifiable claims, well, that's just not the pattern you see with someone manufacturing their authority.
Makes sense, but you mentioned a twist.
Yes. Here's where it gets really interesting, and quite moving, actually. This vindication, it brought him this strange sense of melancholy.
Melancholy, after
Yeah.
being proven right.
Yeah. He reflected on what he'd sacrificed, the man he might have been, he called it. He remembered a time when Francis Bacon was simply Francis Bacon.
Before the titles, the politics?
Before all of that, when his words were just his own, his name carried his own truth. He expressed this profound sadness. He actually said, "I gave the world Shakespeare, but I lost Francis Bacon."
Whoa.
Yeah. I preserved the works, but I buried the man who created them. And sometimes I wonder if it was worth it. He called it a summer dream, this idea of being authentic and whole.
That's incredibly poignant. Wow. And the jury, how do they react?
You could see it on their faces, visible satisfaction. They recognized, quote, honest work and quality craftsmanship. Their mood just shifted completely. Skepticism turned into genuine interest.
Okay, so his claims are verified. That's a huge pillar established. But the next test, maybe even tougher, how does he handle criticism?
Right. This is critical for communicative authenticity. Does someone engage openly with legitimate criticism, or do they, suppress it, deflect, trying to bury opposing voices?
Because authentic authority should welcome evaluation, right? Even systematic scrutiny.
Exactly. While manufactured authority, it runs from it, tries to control the narrative, silence critics.
So how did Bacon stack up here?
Well, again, mostly leaning towards authentic behavior. He faced severe criticism, most famously those parliamentary corruption charges in 1621.
The ones that brought him down.
The very ones. But instead of trying to suppress the proceedings, he actually participated transparently. The public proceedings, they're documented to this day.
He didn't try to use his power to shut it down.
No. He didn't attempt to silence critics or bury the investigation using his position. And regarding his scientific ideas, he consistently welcomed scholarly debate, testing. Later editions of his works even show him engaging with criticisms, not just defensively tweaking things.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. But was there a downside? Any evidence against transparency?
There was some nuance. While he engaged with the corruption charges, he did become defensive. He used legal technicalities in his defense rather than perhaps taking full, straightforward accountability.
Okay.
Some of his responses definitely showed more concern with, let's say, reputation management than with complete, utter transparency.
That's a really interesting distinction. So he allows the examination, which is key.
Yes, he doesn't suppress it.
But his personal response isn't always perfectly open.
Exactly. So the conclusion was, he allowed transparent examination, engaged with criticism rather than burying it, but his responses sometimes showed those defensive patterns.
Still, he got the point for allowing this examination itself. That demonstration of authentic transparency, not attempting suppression.
Correct. One more point for Bacon.
And his reaction to this finding.
Profound vindication again. He declared, authentic authority welcomes evaluation, manufactured authority flees from it.
Doubling down on the principle.
Absolutely.
Oh.
He specifically highlighted his choice to submit to that public examination during the corruption charges. He contrasted it directly with how, a manufactured authority figure would silence the critics at all costs.
Right.
He argued his defensiveness wasn't about avoiding accountability entirely, but about trying to provide context for what was a really complex legal situation.
Trying to explain, not excuse.
That was his argument. He claimed he chose transparency over self-preservation. And in doing that, he said he lost his kingdom, but kept his method.
Wow. What did he mean by that?
He seemed to be pondering that his fall actually taught him something crucial about authority, that it can't really be taken away by parliaments or kings. True authority lives in the method itself.
In the willingness to submit everything to examination.
Exactly. That's where the real authority resides, in his view. Perhaps the true test isn't building influence, but holding on to truth even when those castles of influence crumble around you.
That's deep. How did the jury take that?
They were completely engaged. You could tell they were impressed by what they saw as real backbone, moved by this demonstration of genuine accountability, even with its complexities.
Okay, verified claims, handles criticism openly. Now we dig even deeper.
Into the core, really.
Right. The very essence of who Bacon was versus who he appeared to be. Do his public statements, his behavior, reflect authentic personal character? Or was it more performed expertise, a manufactured persona?
This one cuts right to the heart of authenticity, doesn't it? Discerning that consistency or inconsistency between the inner person and the public face.
Was he fundamentally authentic, expressing himself through different roles? Or a master performer, constructing personas?
And this is where the evidence gets really complex, maybe the most complex part. Well, on one hand, there's strong evidence for authentic character, especially in his intellectual life. His scientific methodology, it consistently reflected genuine conviction. His commitment to empirical, observation-based approaches was unwavering. Decades, different contexts, same core belief.
So that seemed real. Deeply held.
It really appears to emerge from authentic intellectual character, not just a calculated performance. And his private letters show the same kind of methodological thinking as his public works. Consistency there.
But there's a but.
There's a significant but. There's also substantial evidence against authentic character, pointing towards a systematic construction of manufactured personas.
Like what?
His private notebook, the Commentarius Salutis.
Ah, yes. Heard of that.
It explicitly documents calculated performance strategies, how to flatter patrons effectively, how to study rivals' weaknesses to exploit them.
So deliberate calculation in his interactions.
Absolutely. His political persona, frankly, seems carefully manufactured for advancement. It suggests deliberate character construction, not just authentic self-expression in a political role.
Wow. So a real split. How did the analysis conclude?
The conclusion was fascinating. While his political presentations were systematically manufactured,
The courtier.
yes, his intellectual work appears to reflect authentic personal character and genuine conviction. It's like two different modes of operating.
Almost two different people, as you said.
Yeah.
So he still got the point.
He did. 1 point awarded for that distinction, acknowledging the authentic core within the manufactured shell, if you will.
And Bacon's response to this finding must have been complex.
It was. He declared quite profoundly, "We know what we are, but know not what we may be," quoting Shakespeare, perhaps ironically given the theories about him.
Or maybe not ironically all.
Exactly. He argued passionately that his intellectual character was absolutely authentic, unwavering, consistent, driven by real conviction, and those calculated political strategies, he framed them as necessary armor, protection for that authentic intellectual mission.
A means to an end.
That was his defense. He even said the Commentarius Salutis, that notebook, wasn't evidence of lacking authentic character, but evidence of protecting it. A tool for survival in a dangerous world.
Pragmatic view.
Very, but then he went deeper. He confessed that the burden of carrying forward human knowledge is not merely intellectual, it is spiritual.
Spiritual.
Yes. He spoke of living perpetually divided, wearing the mask of the courtier, while his soul, he said, yearned for the laboratory.
That internal conflict.
Deep internal conflict. He admitted he chose survival over purity. He became a performer, a calculator, a man who spoke in riddles to avoid the state.
High stakes indeed.
Literally.
Yeah.
And he posed this question. Maybe the true test of authentic character isn't remaining unchanged, but preserving what matters most when you're forced to transform everything else around it.
Wow. That's a challenging thought.
Isn't it? He concluded that his intellectual character, that part of him, remained pure, constant, unwavering, despite, as he put it, the loneliness of it.
The loneliness of that internal division. Incredible. And the jury bought this distinction.
They seemed completely convinced. They understood the difference between tactical adaptation for survival and the authentic core character. They got that Bacon knew what really matters to him.
Okay, we're almost there. Final question for Pillar 2. Words.
The ultimate test, in some ways.
Is Bacon's communication open to independent verification and fact-checking? Does he welcome systematic examination of his claims, his methods?
This really closes the loop, doesn't it? Is he willing to subject his own communications to the rigorous standards he advocates for understanding the world?
The ultimate expression of authentic authority. Practice what you preach.
Precisely. And here, the evidence was again strongly in his favor, especially regarding his intellectual work. Well, his scientific methodology itself was explicitly designed for independent verification. It provided systematic methods for others to test, to replicate. Think Novum Organum again.
Built for scrutiny.
Exactly. And maybe most significantly, he directly influenced the founding principles of the Royal Society.
Which institutionalized peer review.
Precisely. Peer review, independent verification of scientific claims. His frameworks actively encouraged examination. They didn't resist it.
That's compelling. Was there anything on the other side? Any lack of openness?
Similar to the criticism point, the caveat comes with his personal conduct. When faced with criticism during the corruption proceedings,
Yes.
he sometimes used obfuscation rather than complete, total transparency. His legal defenses showed a pattern of avoiding full accountability for some questionable conduct. A bit slippery, perhaps.
So open about the methods, less open about personal failings.
That seems to be the pattern. So the final conclusion reflected that. His scientific and intellectual communications. Consistently open to verification, fact-checking, his defenses of personal conduct, Less committed to complete transparency.
But still, fundamentally, his core intellectual contribution was designed for openness.
Yes, and that earned him the final point for this pillar,
Which means,
the perfect score.
wow. The court bailiff announces the results for Pillar 2. Words, 4 out of 4. Perfect communicative authenticity.
Bacon's reaction was apparently quite something. Humbled at first, almost couldn't believe it.
And then?
Then triumph. He proclaimed, perfect communicative authenticity. He quoted again, truth will come to light. At the length, the truth will out.
Vindication.
Complete vindication on every measure of communicative authenticity. He argued his original degraded score in public opinion came from biased histories, focusing just on politics and relationships.
But when you look at the work,
When you examine his intellectual contributions, his methodology, he argued, that's where his purest character and authenticity emerge. He hammered the point home. Manufactured authority resists examination. Authentic authority welcomes it.
a powerful conclusion to that pillar.
Mhm.
But there was more, wasn't there?
Mhm.
Even after the perfect score.
Yes, and this is perhaps the most profound part of the whole examination. Despite the perfect score, the total vindication, he expressed this unexpected continuation of hurt.
Still hurt after being proven right.
Yes, he said, the very methodology that has just proven my authenticity has also revealed something else. That even vindication cannot heal the wounds of pursuing truth in a world that prefers comfortable lies.
Wow, that hits hard.
Doesn't it? He shared that even after waiting 4 centuries for this kind of vindication, the weight of what he sacrificed, it's still heavy.
The cost remains.
The cost remains. He concluded that authentic authority, it does not protect you from pain. It does not shield you from the long nights of doubt. It does not erase the cost of choosing duty over comfort, truth over popularity, the future over the present.
So authenticity isn't a shield.
Not at all. But then he connected it to something bigger, a universal authenticity of human struggle. His words were, everybody hurts.
Shared suffering.
Exactly. And in that shared experience, carrying burdens beyond ourselves, that's where we find our deepest fellowship, our connection. His advice, hold on.
Hold on.
Not because the pain will end, he said, but because the calling, the authentic calling, makes the pain meaningful.
Making the pain meaningful. That's powerful. And the jury's final reaction.
Apparently, spontaneous approval erupted. Their transformation was complete. They went from skeptical workers to engaged citizens who had just witnessed authentic authority prove itself, warts and all.
Ready for the next pillars, I imagine.
Absolutely primed.
So, wrapping up our deep dive into Bacon's Pillar 2, words. What did we really learn today about communicative authenticity?
Well, it's clearly not just about what you claim, is it?
No, it's the courage to invite scrutiny, constant scrutiny, to stand by your methods, even when maybe your personal conduct falters a bit.
And maybe acknowledging that pursuing truth often comes with a profound personal cost.
A cost that, ironically, as Bacon suggested, might actually deepen our shared humanity.
It's a fascinating thought. So, for you listening, think about how you assess the words and claims of others in your own life, your daily interactions, the news you consume.
How can applying these kinds of criteria, verifiable claims, handling criticism, character versus persona, openness, help you discern authentic voices from manufactured authority?
Especially when that line between performance and genuine character can be so incredibly blurry. It's crucial for navigating the information overload we all face.
Definitely. And here's a final thought to leave you with. If Francis Bacon, proven authentic through this rigorous historical examination, still felt the weight of sacrifice, still hurts.
What does that tell us about the human cost of pursuing great truths? And maybe, just maybe, how does that shared burden, that shared potential for pain in pursuit of something bigger, how does that connect us all?
I'm always wondering if it's ever gonna end. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it in my bones. Standing in the dust of what's left of us. I can see you in my soul. I can see you in my soul. Did we take too many chances? Did we let too many pass us? Did we throw it all away? Did we throw it all away? Did we light too many matches? Turn ourselves into these ashes? Did we throw it all away? Did we throw it all away? We walk through the fire. Is there a way out? Is there a way out? We walk through the fire. Is there a way out? Is there a way out? I try to understand how we're here again, in the middle of the storm, in the middle of the storm. There's nowhere to go, nowhere to go, but straight through the smoke, straight through the smoke. And the fight is all we know, the fight is all we know. Did we take too many chances? Did we let too many pass us? Did we throw it all away? Did we throw it all away? Did we light too many matches? Turn ourselves into these ashes? Did we throw it all away? Did we throw it all away? We walk through the fire. Is there a way out? Is there a way out? We walk through the fire. Is there a way out? Is there a way out of the fire? Is there a way out? Is there